Hello ladies and mental Jen, and welcome to another Is It Worth the Gold video. Today we are looking at the Rheinmetall Skorpion G. The new tier 8 German premium tank destroyer. And yeah, I mean, what is there to say about this? It's the biggest gun we have ever seen on a premium tank. First of all, well, on the regular tier 8 premiums and not the like the gift ones, and those kind of don't count anyways. But yeah, it's the biggest gun we have seen. This uses the 12.8 centimeter, the same gun as the Rheinmetall, is the same gun as the Panther 2. But as always, let's just jump into quick stats before we do anything else. So let's start. 1150 hit points, top speed forward 60, backwards 20, power to weight 17.3, tank traverse 30, gun traverse 26, and gun depression 7 to the side, 6 to the front, and just 3 to the back. Gun elevation 14 as well, which is not too bad. So far this thing looks pretty damn impressive. I mean, all the stats are up there, really good top speed, really good mobility. The hit points are also not too shabby. So everything looks pretty good, and you even have gun depression. So you would think that there should be something wrong with it, but you would be wrong, because there's nothing really wrong with it. I mean, when we come to the gun, this is, as I said, this is the 12.8 centimeter, as you can see. It has slightly worse DPM than on the Yak Panther 2 and the Borsig, but it's just by like what, 100 or something. So you get 2,409 DPM, 490 average damage, 246 penetration, aiming time 2.1, and accuracy 0.30, which is by 0.05 better than on any other German tank. Well, any other, the Borsig or the Yak Panther 2, which is a bit ridiculous when you think about it. So in a way, this gun isn't even worse than it is on any of the other Germans. It's arguably better, with better aiming time and better accuracy, and you just lose slight bit of DPM, and you have a fucking turret on a tank that isn't as slow as the Borsig. So really, I mean, I can't really think of what the fuck Wargaming was thinking when they decided that this is gonna be a premium. I mean, this is just flat out better than the regular tier 8 TDs, which is a bit weird when you think about it. So my best bet was that this tank is going to be overpriced as fuck, and it's going to be like super expensive as a tier 8 premium, but that's also not correct. This actually, at least the gold price of this is actually significantly lower than on the lowest, so we are likely to see this below 40 euros, well, approximately 40 euros in the EU store, but I'm not obviously not sure what the fuck is going to be in America. So the only actual downside to this tank is that it doesn't make as much credits per damage done as you would make with the other tier 8 premiums, but that's okay, because this tank just does shitloads more damage than your other tier 8 premiums, that is for sure. So far in this game we started by supporting, and then we pushed in to do some damage, and now we're kind of stuck in a shitty position. Also, the obvious downside to a tank like this and any kind of TD like this is that you just lack hit points, and you can really see that here. I only get shot twice, and I can almost already be one-shotted by the T-34 if he gets to shoot me. So that is definitely something you need to worry about when you try to play this aggressive, but that's kind of how it works with all these TDs, and that's, you know, one of the reasons I prefer the bigger guns on the Borsig, because they just trade slightly better in situations like these. But anyways, this tank is ridiculous. It is by far my most damage done on average in any other, well, between any other tier 8 premium. I played this for 10 battles on the test account. As you see, I had mixed matchmaking. I mean, this is full tier 10, so can't really say that I'm, you know, always getting lucky matchmaking or something like that. And you can also explain just not making as much credits, because you are kind of going to be at range with this tank for at least the beginning of the battle. That's really when we come to how to play this thing. You kind of want to be at the back supporting at the start, and then see how the battle develops and pick up from there. You don't want to be on the front lines right from the start. You might take some aggressive spotting positions, and it is really fast for a tier 8. It goes 60 forwards, and the power to weight is 17, so it's going to reach that 60 reasonably quickly. So it is a tank that can set up ambushes early in the game, but just be careful to not overcommit in this, as the survivability of this is not very high. Even though you can pretty much 1v1 any other tier 8, it's absolutely not a problem, as this DPM is just ridiculous. And obviously, if you can trade your shots, you just shit on tier 8 mediums in 3 shots. Well, you know, in 3 shots you're still going to be alive and kicking. I didn't talk about the armor because obviously there's not really much to talk about. The front is 30 and the turret front is 14, so you know, it's like absolute paper. So I expect to get shot by HE when spotted, and that's also one reason why you should try not to be super predictable in this tank, as people will load HE and they will penetrate you and they will wreck your modules if you are too predictable and peeking the same positions over and over after being spotted. Before I forget, the equipment I use on this is rammer, optics, and gun length drive. Binos is probably a better choice as the base rear range is only 360, but optics worked reasonably well for me, so I'm happy with that. So 2127 experience, ace tanker, and what is that, tank sniper, I guess. So we ended up doing 4,251 damage with 3 kills, which netted us 1,289 base experience, which I imagine when this tank comes out is not going to be even first class mastery. It's probably going to be the second class. But as I said, I only played 10 games in it, and this was one of the better ones. Also, this was in a really bad matchmaking for this tank. Well, you would think at least. Made 108,000 credits, which is rather low, as I said, for doing 4.2k damage on a tier 8 premium. And after ammo and repairs, that was 88,000 profit. The shells do cost quite a lot. It's more than 1k per shell, so missing a lot of shots will reduce your profit quite significantly. I'll slam in some other end plates here so you can see how this tank, well, what kind of money you can expect to make with this. This was a bit more credits as I was shooting and spotting for myself a bit more. Another 84,000, so that's a bit kind of like the average credits you're gonna make in a decent game, around 80, 85, 87k. Kind of hard to beat that really in a tank like this, as you know, it just doesn't seem to get as much money as the others, as I said. On average though, this tank is pretty sick. As you can see, these are my stats in it. 10 games, 88 wins, 2 defeats. Average damage done almost 3,200, which is like 700 more than you'd get on a good tier 8 premium, at least what I would get on a good tier 8 premium. So this tank is pretty nuts. The only downside, as I said, is that it doesn't make a lot of credits. But other than that, in-game-wise, it's really similar to an IS-3A. It doesn't really have a lot of weaknesses apart from the lack of hit points and it being made out of folded cardboard. But you know, that's kind of what you expect when you want to play a fast TD with a turret, so this is actually like insane. It's hard to really argue that the value is ridiculous, and is it worth the gold? I mean, fuck yeah, it is. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I will see you on the next one.